and do it in 6 weeks. And I'm like, wow, you know, I mean, it was amazing and inspiring, and of course, just exemplifies what is so incredible about Crisis Clinic are our volunteers. They are amazing, and it's what I love about my job, is I get to work with so many different people from all walks of life who all come together for a common cause, which is to really be present, be authentic, be genuinely available to strangers in their most vulnerable, desperate moment in their life. And, you know, really try to heal some of the trauma and hurt that's out in the world. And they do it in 10 minutes, 40 minutes, a 30-minute phone call. They do it by responding to a chat, a crisis chat, by a text from a youth across the country who's isolated. They do it by helping connect people to resources when they're looking for help with substance abuse on the Recovery Helpline. They do it by helping families who are like, how do I help this person I love who's suicidal tonight? You know, we have volunteers who've been with us for 15, 20, 25, 30 years. They come in every week to do this work together. And they do it because they love connecting with the callers, but they also do it because they love connecting with each other. So that's the kind of community we have at Crisis Clinic, that what keeps me inspired and really engaged. I started as a volunteer 13 years ago, and then I had the privilege to work on the other side of that. The desk and work as a staff member in the phone room, and then volunteer manager, and it's incredible work that they're doing. So whether you want to come and volunteer with us and do that work, or you want to help support what we're doing, we support King County, we support members throughout the state on the Recovery Helpline. We're helping teams throughout the country. So whatever speaks to you, we're probably doing it. And I know that you can't get through this life without being touched by some heartache on some level, either personally or by people that you love, dealing with mental illness and substance abuse issues. So, you know, what we're doing on Crisis Clinic is what most of us in our life are doing for the people that we love. So that's a little bit about us. There's lots of written material, so you can read all that stuff on the table over there, or find me after the event tonight. Laura, thank you. This is great, and I can't wait to see what comes next. So thank you. All right, you guys ready for some performances? Yeah. We are going to warm up your ears with some music to start off. So the first performer tonight is from a group called Led to See. She actually just got back from a tour in Europe, so we are very grateful that she is here. Her name is Alex Guy. The first time, Alex Guy. The first time I saw Alex, she was performing, and I don't know how to explain it, and it doesn't come out cool because I was so awestruck that I was just sitting there and just like, I want to be. I was blown away, and I'm so excited for you to hear her. Yeah, you can come on up. Everyone give a warm welcome.
Hi everybody, thanks for being here tonight. I really want to thank Laura for having me be here, and I'm just really honored to be performing tonight with this amazing group of people that you'll see tonight. It's a lot of people that I really respect in Seattle and adore their art, so here we go.
Is this the last time we'll feel this breaking apart into pieces of the whole I have? And it left me here alone to feel this around a guilt I just won't own, and I can't quite believe it's died. Was it me? It was me. I think I believe it was my fault after all that this began to stall. 'Cause I didn't take what you said to heart, and it's not that I don't care, I was just barely there, like a ghost, like a shadow, like a shadow, like a shadow, like a shadow in your bed. To the shore, thrown by storming water, you led me here to push my hand into that gaping cavern. Was it me? It was me. I think I believe it was my fault after all that this began to stall. 'Cause I didn't take what you said to heart, and it's not that I don't care, I was just barely there, like a ghost, like a ghost, like a shadow, like a shadow, like a shadow, like a shadow in my own head. If I could find a reason for this breaking apart, if I could find a reason for this breaking apart, if I could find a reason for this breaking apart, would you find your way back home? Rust has crept into this visual, water falls down to fill it. We should use our bristly fingers, scratch it away, but we just
I had a poem that I read as a feature at a poetry show, and it was about bulimia and dealing with the issues around that. So that is something I've dealt with and I'm still dealing with. So, sorry for any vulgar language or anything like that. I know you guys. It's always interesting to me how people react to eating disorders, as if merely thinking about them gives us a disorder. When you tell someone you are bulimic, they look at you as if they want to ask you if you are hungry, and sometimes they ask you if you are hungry, but usually they stare blank, as if you are somehow defective, as if striving for perfection makes you defected. I am not hungry. See, because the beauty of being bulimic is you can eat whatever you want, as long as you are quick to purge. Being bulimic is like a war with your insides, like a religious war with your insides. Your bladder be the battlefield, crusade carbs act as heretics, threatening the harmony of your body, and it feels good to force them out. You feel God. A quick clockwise turn of the wrist, do not flinch, relax your throat, choke. Do not pull your fingers out until you are sure something is going to come up with it, because gagging is painful. Your muscles tighten as if clinging to bones, begging you see your own beauty. You will know you have won when blood vessels pop. When dry heaving produces a gooey residue, you will later understand this to be stomach acid. You will stand, mentally full, physically empty, and you will look amazing, as if you never ingested anything. Then people begin to wonder why. Why a hot black guy would want to be skinny, why a thug would throw up. Bulimia is not a masculine disorder. It is more embarrassing to tell guys I have done it, yet even more painful when I tell girls who are friends and their comfort is, I've been there too. How do I hide our commonalities from our common enemy when wrist already breaks, begging shackle hangs loose? Have you ever looked at gay people in mainstream media? They are ripped, they are white, and they are professionals. I am not white, at least by standards of skin tone, not yet a professional, so I decided to get ripped. Couldn't get ripped, so I chose slim instead, and I wanted to be popular. Wanted to rid myself of everything inside me. Seems I never truly feel full until completely empty. I wanted to become malleable model, emaciated entity. I wanted to be wanted, and what better way to attain that than to be physically desirable? I have never been unattractive in the eyes of others. I have never been beautiful in my own eyes. Bulimia is the least of my problems. Shit, it produced a deep throat since tearing tissue to purge. Now it's the perfect shape for shafts. Fucking everything I used to be, regurgitating dicks just to have them thrust back into me, reminding me of times when I have been more worthless. I love the term face fuck, because I can imagine they mean they want to fuck my face, like my face is fuckable, like my face is valuable, and sometimes they throw me cash for the fairy, weed for my diligent work, and sometimes I get the privilege of fucking them. I am a worshiper and a god. I am the pleaser and the pleased. I threw up to get used to these pains I threw, because I wanted attention. I wanted someone to offer help I would have rejected, but I wanted the offers anyways. It wasn't until 6 months later, the morning after having a family dinner. I have a huge fucking family, so by family dinner, I mean feast. It was delicious, going down and coming back up, but I threw up so much that I popped all the blood vessels around my eyes. My body's truest form of disgust, mentally hated myself, now physically disgusted myself, eyes trying to escape the sight of me as I was trying to do them. There are days that I wake, and I hate seeing these shitty colored eyes in the mirror. Color of dirt, of work, of oppression, of ignorance, of nothing. There is something about nothing that feels so fulfilling. I threw up because I didn't know what else to do. And you can be sad for me if you want to, but I get laid on the regular, get approached often. I know there are people who fantasize about what lie beneath these expensive skins, so do not apologize for my pain. Apologize for your ideal. Apologize for desiring perfection, and I will apologize for striving for it. At the end of the day, I am not heartbroken. I am not scarred by your disregard. I am not begging that you find me naturally beautiful. I am numb to these things. I have been empty for a while, so I fill my pie hole with any fruit I can find, bake it, place it on the windowsill, wait till it cools, then I eat. I pray, and I purge. I let myself wipe my mouth as I come up from between thighs, up from within toilet bowls, and I ask you to tell me I am not hot. You not do this. With your cock clenched tightly in my hand, attached to toned forearm, connected to bold bicep, look at me. I am as hot as you can tell me I need to be. Bulimia was my first chameleon camouflage. And it hurt like hell, it hurts like hell, but look at the magnificence it has produced.
Thanks, Laura, for inviting me here tonight. I write a lot about growing up in an alcoholic home, suffering through depression. This poem that I'm going to do next, called Compassion Fatigue, I wrote 5.5 years ago when I got sober, and I'll be celebrating 6 years in January. And I think it's an important poem to read. It's still current in my life. It's Compassion Fatigue. If you're sick, broken, or addicted, and trying to hold on, there's an important thing to remember. Get hurt and die, or heal and recover, in which case everyone can get over it, and you can keep more friends that way. See, it's the hanging around in between that really pisses people off. Their attention for compassion is limited. They hate to be reminded of being human. It's not what we do best. See, it's not that they don't care. They do. They are very happy if you become well. They just want an outcome. They just want to know if they're going to a funeral or a parade, in which case their outfits are ready. They do not know what to wear when you're in the middle between dying and recovering. They do not know where to put the emphasis in your name, which direction do the corners of your mouth turn. They don't even know what to say when coworkers ask casually about you. Simple water cooler conversations become eulogies of the person you were. They say your name as reenacting the agony you're already in. See, time takes time. That's exactly what they're trying to hold on to, and it's all that you need. But we, Americans, have heroes, not patients. We have special little places to put loved ones not healing quick enough. Adult children can't stand to see their heroes fallen, shitting themselves, drooling, memories fading, bones brittle, and hearts patched up. So we put them in a safe place, sit them in a wheelchair overlooking a beautiful lake, sending beautiful flowers periodically to brighten the room. It makes us feel compassionate, like we roll out our fallen heroes through back doors of airports so the public can see the casualties of freedom, like an 18-year-old soldier hit by a roadside bomb that ripped off his legs. We can't bear to see our tough soldier in pain of missing his boots, frantically reaching above his head where he last saw them instead. We support them by sighing in grief when we hear their name on TV, or applaud them in return with pale faces and painkiller grins. It makes us feel compassionate. We don't want to hear about Corporal Jones, who just had his 12th surgery and is now starting an 18-month physical therapy session and back to reading Green Eggs and Ham. I am Sam. We want an outcome, not the process. See, we throw the word support around like the word freedom. Support our troops, support our friends, our loved ones. Well, the word support means to bear the weight of, to hold up, to be capable of bearing, withstanding, to keep from weakening or failing, to give of yourself in time. And here's the hardest part. Seek no reward for yourself. See, we think support is keeping them in our thoughts. Where? Between my ass itches and I need to get laid, I'm here for you. Where? Between cell phone calls, text messaging, and BlackBerry appointments, when can you schedule me in? Let me know if you need anything. I do. I need your bearing. See, our problem isn't lack of health care. It's the lack of caring for someone's health, for life, the fragile parts. Is the time given to let bones fuse together or withdrawals to dissipate. Is dealing and recognizing we are so very, very small and easily broken. We shouldn't wear watches, no longer gauge our days by a ticking of a clock, but by the number of breaths. And a weak heart beating stronger with that breath. It's simple. These days are simple. They move like concrete, and asking for help, it's hard. A phone becomes an 800-pound weight, so please don't tell me you'll pray for me. Pray with me. Don't ask me if there's anything you can do. Just be there. Show up. Become patient. Bear with me. Thank you. Yeah.
So, before I get started, I have not actually really a story to tell. It's kind of a fact of life that if you live with severe mental illness, a lot of times if people want to help you, there's some pretty heavy strings attached. For me at college, my school had a habit of once they found out you had illness, of making medication or inpatient treatment conditional for you to actually stay in school. So for those of us who didn't really want to get medicated, there was no one to help us when there wasn't somewhere to call. And having an anonymous voice that you can call for help is the most amazing gift I've ever been given. And I'm really glad to give back whatever I can. Here's a poem. When you tell them you're schizophrenic, everyone knows what's best for you. Every plan you've ever made are the machinations of your overclocked fever brain. You want control of you, but they all know better. Because you're a clock running backwards, steam pouring into a tea kettle, a car, with your pedals mixed up, trying to floor it until you stop moving, son. We're just trying to help. No. Doctor, you are trying to kill the only part of me I've ever valued. This car does not run right, but I'm the fucking driver, son. You don't know what this means. Beg to differ. I've been broken for 23 years. I think I know what it means by now to live my life in a movie I don't direct. I stopped running from their screen tests at 16. Realized the dead bodies filling construction sites were no more real than stage props and probably couldn't kill me anyways, no matter what their mannequin mouth zombied after my sanity sunset, son. We're just trying to help. No. Doctor, no. I've seen your hands in the ghosts of CAT scans, vivisections of homeless minds. Ask us while we stop taking our medicine. You wouldn't pill pop either if your drugs filled your frontal lobe with worms teething away at your self-control. History lesson. Schizophrenia is not a set of symptoms. Its lifetime has encompassed everything from epilepsy to mental retardation. It's a label. For those of us the medical system is done putting up with. And they have always tortured us. Binding, electric shock, drowning, castration. We are perpetual casualties in the war for our own sanity, and when they told you that your health care was a war crime. So to stop shoving ice picks down our eye sockets, you found chemicals to do it for you. History lesson. Add a brand name. Add a prescription. You can label anything help. You give us medicine to make us marionettes, and you tug on our strings. You tug on our strings and we twitch, and we twitch. And we get our own row on the bus because no one wants to sit next to us when you're twitching and you smell bad because they don't pull a string that says shower, just a wrench on your rope to keep moving and tug on the string to keep twitching, keep talking. We talk to ourselves because no one else will listen. So doctor, listen. Look at my hands. See how still they are when your strings are off.
Hi. I also want to thank Wachs and the Crisis Clinic for honoring people who fight for their mental health, and also for getting the mic at the perfect height. That's really great, actually. Okay, so I was told not to preface this poem, but I just want to say that I have mental health issues, and this is the best love poem I could write. Prayer for a 23-year-old. He makes more in an hour than I get in food stamps for a month. Could overpower me in any kind of fight with shipyard chest and steel pipe arms. His last girlfriend was an Amazon Barbie, and he makes the girl at the cheese counter forget I am there just by turning to face her. He laughs when I tell him he is young. Still, he clasps my rib cage together and looks away when I say he can hit me. still brings me in to kiss the down on my scalp and says, I would never cheat on you. His mouth on my neck makes me forget all about the fathers, and the jackals in my chest stop at his palm against my sternum. He kisses my collarbone like it's safety. It is a roof ledge. I want to warn him. I am not a stopping point. I am a sideshow. Here is the prayer. Have there be a next girl. Have them meet at an airport, a shooting range, a car crash. Have her lure his gaze in from her ass winding upwards. He will not be prepared. Her hands will draw him in like kettle steam, her mouth sputter like a faucet of laughter. She will not be my stock of woman. Booby shards, bear trap lashes, and beehive thighs. Women who shapeshift to accordion spines and twist on ankles for honey and coins. God, grant me no power in this one regard. May I not keep him past my luck. May he be the person someone wake up to on a low bed every morning. Her shoulder blades sink at his touch, bare-skinned in gray light. Her lips always seize his back, in half-sleep, unsure. He is the kind of gentle that will stab her with uncertainty, that there will be more, and more, and more.
That's really good because I always do like humorous pieces and this is not. So like I was sort of hoping, I'm like, well maybe my pants can fall down or something. But hitting myself in the face with the mic, perfect. That was just what I needed. They said there were no signs that anything was going on. I say that was because they either were not looking or they just didn't want to deal with it. I did not speak in public until I was 6. People would look into my face, ask me questions, and I would just stare back. They eventually gave up on asking me questions. One day, my mother was drinking with friends, and I accidentally drank the champagne instead of the ginger ale because it was in the same style glass. And after years of not speaking and no expression on my face, I shouted with a shit-eating grin on my face, "My mom has hair on her hiney." Then silence for 4 more years. But there were no signs that anything was going on. I also never took off my coat. Ever. My mother had told me as soon as she found the chance to leave me somewhere, she would. She told me that she was jealous of the news reports where a child had been abducted. We would sometimes go to supermarkets and parks where she would try to leave me. So all year long, I wore my coat, profusely sweating everywhere I went. I was ready, I lost my spot. I was at the ready to follow her in case she tried to bolt. But there were no signs that anything was going on. There was an entire year when I crawled on all fours, only barked, and would respond to the name Scruffy. Dogs seemed to have a good life. But there were no signs that anything was going on. When I was in middle school, I got detention because when the other kids were out taking recess, running around, playing and laughing, I was stealing their leftovers. And the loving, encouraging notes that their parents had put into their lunch bags. I would eat the leftovers and saved the notes. I used them as bookmarks and would pretend they were mine. But there were no signs that anything was going on. I was often creatively punished for my outbursts, like having to stand in a bucket of cold water on one foot until I urinated. Then I was to drink the bucket of pee. Yeah, it was gross. But again, there were no signs that anything was going on. When I was in high school, I reached out to a counselor who had spoken about physical and emotional abuse in my health class. This was my tippy-toe attempt at asking for help. But like I said, I didn't speak, so I'm pretty sure I did it wrong. Because when she told me, if you are making an actual complaint, I will have to call your mother. I was baffled. She was going to call my mother. Now, while I was a quiet kid, I was also pretty angry. So with all the muscles confused in my face, I asked, how are you fucking helpful to anybody? I got detention. Then I got expelled because I didn't show up. But again, not one sign that anything was going on. It took me years of feeling safe before I could forgive my mother. I still haven't forgiven the people who ignored us. My mother has struggled with mental health her whole life. She has been shamed into hiding herself, shamed into not getting support. She was threatened that people wouldn't understand her, that they would abandon her, that she would go to hell. She was in hell. She is still in hell. I wish she had had something like the crisis clinic, a lifeline, a non-judgmental ear to listen, someone to let her know that she was not alone.
Well, there's some mental thing that I'm going through. And I thought about the time of the year, and I thought about how a lot of people are triggered by this time of the year, particularly around issues that have to do with grief, and so I decided to read this poem. When I say grief, I mean yesterday. I had to sit on the bathroom floor for 20 minutes because I noticed the doorknob to my bathroom had scratches from our wedding rings. 2 days ago, the song to which we walked down the aisle came on the radio. I turned ice cold, and thank God I wasn't driving over a bridge. These days, I do everything I can to avoid them. Last week, I woke mid-heart hiccup from a dream out of which I can still smell him on my hands. They don't tell you how this will alter your body. Rip out the stitches and re-sew you into a new garment, maybe one without armholes. This helplessness must be what it feels like to have fins and gills on dry land. When I say grief, I mean there are whole months like having fins and gills on dry land without the relief of dying. This morning, muscle memory typed his name at the top of an email to someone else because their names share the first 3 letters, but now another woman memorizes his earlobes on her first date. In the time it took a drop of rain to fall from lobe to shoulder, I formed a whole new definition of permanent, of what it means to meet a seam that keeps re-sewing itself no matter how many times you rip the stitches, the needle will find you in the dark. When I say grief, I mean, I'm that weird girl at parties, trying to look anything other than how I actually feel and to not answer apocalypse when I'm asked, how are you? How can it be possible to cry for a year? I want to shout at anyone who will listen, I've been crying for a year, do you see me? Grief makes you feel invisible. Because if anyone could see the you you're becoming, they'd surely give you something, but there is no something to give. On some days, you'll stick around, if only because you're curious what could possibly be on the other side. Before he left, I asked him what anyone else who tries to love me should know. He said that your heart is infinite, God damn it. What I wouldn't do for a different mathematical diagnosis, mother. I can't seem to find my hands inside the garment of my skin. It's cold in here. When I say grief, I mean no mother's milk. If there were a scalpel for such things, I could want, but still not be able to ask for an amputation, because despite it all, this experiment called loss is freakishly interesting, littered with the exquisite torture of weeping, strangled with the story of dry land. When the first fish walked, do you think he wanted to leave his family behind in search of his own freedom? I don't know who I'll be on the other side of this. And the fucked thing is, he probably does, and he probably doesn't. When I say divorce, I mean walking away from the only reliable map of yourself and stepping into a place without footprints, like you are the first person to ever have feet. Disorienting is an understatement when you know where your home is sleeping 72 miles away, but you will never share his night air again. When I say grief, I know that what's required is to reach in and pull out myself, but I can't find my hands, so I'm just gonna have to settle. No, I'm just gonna have to God walk out of here on these terrible but magnificent feet.
Was when I went to this person's birthday. I didn't know who they were, but everyone was drunk already because it was already 1:30 in the morning. And my favorite karaoke song is Lean on Me. And I just remember the whole crowd linking arms and swaying and singing with me. And I felt so cool. So, yeah. Okay, so you have to sing with me because I'm really scared. Alex, this is how much I love you. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill all of your needs that you won't let show. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand, 'cause we all need somebody to lean on. Just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Give yourself a round of applause. I've been performing for a few years. I started performing because poetry in the art community saved my life. I wish I knew something like the Crisis Clinic had existed when I was younger, but I didn't. And so I spent about a year questioning living or dying, and it's a pretty simple choice. You either do one or the other. And so I decided to try to live, and in that made this list of things that made me happy and decided to practice every one of those I could do independently. And the first one was poetry. So I started going to readings and was hooked from the first one. Just people's bravery and honesty and a space to be accepted and heard. It's incredible. And so I started performing to try to offer that to people as well. This is my show, so you have to do what I say. So I want everyone to get up and sit by a stranger right now. Even if you just move one seat over, everyone do it. And I mean it, don't make it. Sit by a stranger. Quickly. Just kidding. You guys are so wonderful. All right. This poem uses some audience participation, so do it. Repeat after me. Let me introduce myself. This is all of me.
This is all of me.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
People, they tell me I'm strong like glass, wearing my heart on my sleeve, but most days I feel like tissue paper, like a single drop of water could tear like a razor. I feel like a razor blade most days. My teeth, small combs of metal asking for a fight. But when there is nothing to cut, nothing to chew, nothing to remove, I forget that the same steel used to forge my blades is used to make gravy boats. Repeat after me, good gravy. Good gravy. I need to lighten up. People, they tell me I'm strong like boulders, wearing my heart like a rock. But most days I feel like dust, hoping if I make myself small enough the breeze might take me away, that maybe I won't be afraid of losing if I'm already gone. Repeat after me, I'm scared of losing everything. I'm scared of losing everything. Most days, I feel like dust lying amidst dirty floors, waiting for brooms to sweep me away so I can learn how to dance. But I have eternity to dance like dust. I want to dance like fireworks, spinning inside my anatomy, entangling light in my veins, these eternal wicks of flame in our bodies. Let's fuse with them. Ignite motion. Hold out your hands, every one of you, and turn them up. Take your palm and place it on the person next to you. Or you can do two if you want. Everyone find a hand. Now, repeat after me. Let me introduce myself. This is all of me. This is all of me. I love you. I love you. I'm scared. I'm scared. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Your hands. We are pieces of dust in a block of concrete in a pillar that holds up the sky. People tell me I'm strong like planets, but most days I feel lost. My heart, a compass following me in 4 directions and everywhere in between. I don't know where I'm going, but I don't need to. Repeat after me, I don't need to know where I'm going. I don't need to know where I'm going. Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! We are a compass, a clock in disguise. Realized plans were a waste of time, so smash us on walls, crack, splinter our glass. When we shatter, we will not bleed. Repeat after me, you are short. You are short. People tell me I'm short. It's such a simple laugh. Okay. I always will be, but most days I feel like love because I know what it's like to lose everything and to feel alone. Repeat after me. I'm scared of losing everything. I'm scared of losing everything. I'm scared of being alone. I'm scared of being alone. Good gravy. Good gravy. Good gravy. Good gravy. I need to lighten up. I need to lighten up. We are all explosions waiting to be heard, ticking time bombs, impatient to burst, dancing fireworks. Fuse with me. Ignite motion. Let's make a spark. music.